Good afternoon, everyone. I hope everyone's having a nice Wednesday and a nice week so far. We're excited to be hosting you for our webinar today. We'll first let a few people join before we get started with today's session. How's your week going, Curtis?
Yeah, well, good, thank you. How's your week, Curtis?
Yeah, it's been going well so far.
Yeah, getting some sun finally, which is nice.
Yeah, a little bit of rain now as well, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's been on and off, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has.
More people joining, which is great.
Okay, we'll get going now, and I'm sure some of the attendees will join while we're kicking off. So, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to one of our Token Talks webinars today. We're super excited that you've all joined us for today's session. Again, if you don't know who I am, I'm Curtis, our marketing lead here at Token, and we have our other Curtis, who is Token Senior Advertising Manager, who will be talking about how you can use AMC to unlock smarter growth on Amazon. So, the session today will run for around 30 minutes, and we will have a live Q&A at the end of the session. So if you do have any questions, please feel free to type them into the Q&A section at any time during the webinar. I'll collect all of these while Curtis is presenting, and we will try to get through as many as possible at the end. So I will now hand over to Curtis to take you through today's session.
Thanks, Curtis. And yeah, hi everyone. Great to be here, and thanks all for joining. Today we have a super exciting session on how we use AMC for smarter growth at Toucan. And I think before we head into more some sort of the case study and detail analysis, we'll start with a very quick intro of what AMC is to give you some more context if you're new to AMC. Cool, let's get started. So yeah, just going into a bit of introduction of AMC. So what is AMC, Amazon Marketing Cloud? So AMC is a secure, privacy-safe, cloud-based clean room solution developed by Amazon Ads. So it enables advertisers like me and you to perform custom analytics and build audiences using pseudonymized event-led signal from Amazon Ads. And I know I probably just said two phrases that didn't really make sense to you. So what is pseudonymized? So pseudonymized is any information that could directly identify a person. So like name, email, or phone number, they're all replaced with a code. And then event signals. So event signals are details, records of actions or events that happen during a shopper's journey. And then sort of in more layman terms, what it means with AMC. Basically, AMC is a powerful data tool that helps advertisers understand how people interact with their ads. It works in a secure and private way. Therefore, no personal data information is shared. So when we look at interactions, we're actually looking at a range of actions where interactions may actually involve engagement through viewing, sort of viewing for a video or a static ad, or performing subsequent actions like viewing promoted product detail pages or searching for your brand name in the search bar, as well as viewing your brand store. As well as interaction may also include engagement through clicking on ads or conversion-based behaviors such as adding to cart, purchasing, or subscribing save actions. Therefore, AMC considers how consumers perform a broad range of actions when served ads through Amazon Ads solution, which is applicable for both endemic and non-endemic advertisers. So how is it different then to Amazon Ads reporting? So I think how AMC reporting is different to Amazon Ads solution reporting can be broken down into four key aspects. And the first thing is the data granularity. So Amazon Ads provides pre-aggregated data from your campaign, ad group, keywords, or placement level. And AMC reporting basically works off from event signals, so such as your impression, clicks, or conversions, which are aggregated only for privacy. And then secondly, the flexibility of AMC reporting versus Amazon Ads reporting. Amazon Ads reporting provide fixed reports with limited customization. However, AMC is able to provide fully customizable reports leveraging SQL queries. And then the scope of Amazon Ads and AMC reporting. Amazon Ads look at each ad product separately. So DSP or sponsor ads are looked at differently. However, AMC, we can combine multiple channels. So with AMC, we can combine DSP and sponsor ads. And if we have first-party data as well, we can add that in for further analysis. Lastly, the use cases. Amazon Ads allows you to track campaign performance, such as your sales, ROAS, clicks, impressions. However, with AMC, we can actually have more advanced measurements. Some examples are the reach and frequency, path to conversion, new to brand, lifetime value, and more. Therefore, these reports are different and they shouldn't be used in silo, but to complement one another. So AMC in summary just goes that's one step further and adds the greater context to your advertising performance. Cool. And the first use case of AMC we'll look at is the path to conversion. So looking at the path to conversion analysis for a beauty brand that we worked with, and then looking at the conversions in Q4 from 2024. During that time frame, we implemented multiple DSP burst campaigns, along with an always-on sponsor ads coverage. And just to note, the paths shown on the slide are paths with more than one touch point. And then firstly, on the left, looking at the most common path occurrences, which assess the most commonly seen paths, which also shows the paths where the majority of spend was allocated. Therefore, the most common way consumers interact and feel a brand through ads. And we can see that the first path is sponsor product to sponsor brand or sponsor brand video. And the second path is top of funnel DSP to bottom of funnel DSP. These two paths had the highest volume of path occurrences, which also means that consumers interacted with two different ad formats and were heavily reached through these channels. Interestingly, path 2 had 70K more occurrences than path 1, despite being 38% cheaper, showing paths prioritizing DSP drove a more efficient and scalable reach versus exclusive sponsor ads paths. And secondly, look at the middle table, looking at the strongest converting paths with the highest ROAS across the total campaign activation. What was really interesting with this was that all the paths had sponsor product as the first touch point, and sponsor brand or sponsor brand video was present in all paths. And the top converting paths integrated both sponsor ads and DSP, showing how both of these ad types in collaboration can help to drive conversion. Finally, looking at the right, looking at the highest new to brand acquisition paths of orders with sufficient spend. Therefore, these are our strongest new to brand acquisition pathways. And the top one is top of funnel DSP to sponsor products to bottom of funnel DSP. And the second one is sponsor product, sponsor brand or sponsor brand video to sponsor display. Both top performing paths have 3 touch points, showing the importance of multiple touch points in new to brand acquisition. Both paths also include sponsor products, which highlighting this ad type as an engager rather than its user conversion-based appearance. Both of these paths also use a mixture of contextual and search targeting, with the top new to brand driving path featuring both sponsor product and DSP, with the last touch point being sponsor display in contextual or audience targeting. And compiling this, the subsequent actions for this brand were to build custom audiences based on audiences who have engaged with each ad type, and we target these people through sponsored display and bottom of funnel and bottom of funnel DSP. Great. And jumping into the next use case of AMC, which is the marketing funnel analysis. So looking at the marketing funnel analysis, I think a question we want to ask before looking into more details is whether we are hitting all the elements of the Amazon advertising funnel. If the answer is yes, we are, then how are we ensuring that the awareness users are moving down the funnel to consideration, or consideration users are moving down the funnel to conversion? How are our advertising efforts impacting consumers, and how is impacting consumers down the funnel? And this is the exact scenario of one of the grocery brands that we work with, and wanted to assess. Is their top of funnel streaming TV activation actually worth it down the funnel? And how does their top of funnel activity impact lower funnel performance? And for this brand in particular, they unlocked incremental budgets for a Prime Video campaign to drive brand awareness, layered with display DSP to drive consideration, and retarget Prime Video engagers. And this was on top of their ongoing sponsor ad strategy, so they were able to run a full funnel campaign. Campaign KPIs were still delivered for the total campaign performance you get across sponsor ads and DSP. Yet we needed to see an aggregated view in order to fully understand the volume of people and the campaign impact at each funnel region. And to sort of further understand this, we look at the marketing funnel analysis through AMC and found that post Prime Video activation, consideration, conversion, and loyalty regions of the funnel improved, which is great news. We then used AMC to analyze how layering the top of funnel media directly impacted the volume of awareness, consideration, conversion, and loyalty users, and how consumers moved down the funnel through a broad media activation. And looking at this specific campaign, we launched in early September for a month, and DSP display launched in late September, also launching roughly for a month. We used AMC to understand the volume of consumers at each stage of the funnel. And for this scenario, we saw that awareness use, for looking at the graph, just for your context, awareness users are those who view the ad, which is the black line you can see on the left graph. Consideration users are people who view the detail page or click on the ad, which is the orange. Conversion users are those who purchase the product, which is the green. And finally, the loyalty users are those who purchase the product but weren't new to brand, which is the blue. And on the left graph, we see the volume of consumers at each stage of the funnel, with May to August included so that we could assess the general performance before the campaign being launched, so we can have a baseline. So continue looking at the table on the left, it shows that in September, the volume of consumers at each stage of the funnel reaches its highest point over the last 5 months, with the key here being that awareness users growth of 197% month on month in September. And when we then look at October, we expectedly see a decline in awareness users with the Prime Video campaign ending. However, the volume of consideration, conversion, and loyalty users peaked to its highest point in the last 6 months, which is significantly outperforming July. And then the table on the right assesses the rate of transition between different funnel stages, meaning it assesses how many people move from awareness to consideration, consideration to conversion, and so on. We can see that the rate of transition from awareness to consideration dropped significantly in September, which actually is unsurprising. That is due to the significant increase in user volume of almost 200% to the month before. And interestingly, the rate of transition between consideration and conversion and loyalty stays quite stable when comparing May to September. We only see the spike after September when DSP was heavily integrated. Consideration to conversion spiked by 56% and conversion to loyalty a staggering 70%. Furthermore, as the volume of consumers at these regions are also at their highest versus the last 6 months, the level of transition is significant. So I think in conclusion, with the campaign KPI data reported from Amazon Ads, AMC data, AMC data was able to show that through layering the top of funnel Prime Video activation and middle of funnel display DSP, we were able to have a significant impact on the volume of people aware of the brand, as well as engaging with the brand and then further purchasing and repurchasing from the brand. And then our third use case of AMC that we'll look at is combining multiple SQL analysis and then to assess the new to brand gateway ASINs alongside repeat purchases versus new to brand purchase behavior on an ASIN level. So firstly, we'll look at a case study from a vitamins, minerals, and supplement brand in the UK. We looked at a 13-month look-back window for them and ran a new-to-brand gateway ASIN analysis, where AMC aggregates events across Amazon Ad Solution and ranks ASINs based on their new-to-brand influence. For this brand, we actually found that their fiber, magnesium, and sleeping variants drove new-to-brand. And subsequently, we suggested running tests across sponsor ads and DSP with a specific focus on these high new-to-brand ASINs. And for sponsor ads, we suggested A/B testing sponsor brand campaigns, focusing on the new-to-brand gateway. Focusing on the new-to-brand gateway ASINs as the feature hero ASINs to drive new-to-brand. While for DSP, we suggested building custom assets, focusing on the free variants for awareness media. And then sort of following the suggestions, we ran a custom SQL query for the same brand to measure from the new to brand drivers, what does their repeat purchase look like? And with the knowledge from previous AMC analysis that fiber, magnesium, and sleeping variations drive new to brand, we actually found that the sleep variants drive volume, yet it had a poor repeat purchase versus the brand average. And the known new to brand drivers of fiber and magnesium drove strong repeat purchases. The apple cider and probiotic variants drive a lower volume of orders, yet the repeat purchases is really strong. And for the sleep variants, which are known to drive volume, we consequently focus on purchase remarketing just before the product lifecycle ends to improve repeat purchases. And then with the understanding that known new to brand drivers of fiber and magnesium driving a strong repeat purchases, we then ensure products remain as the heroes within top of funnel media to drive new to brand orders and lifetime customer value. And then finally, understanding that the apple cider and probiotic variants drive a lower volume, but a high repeat purchase, we aim to drive awareness for these variants, adding them to the top of funnel DSP. And then lastly, I think I want to close us out with how to use AMC for a shorter period of time, diving into how we can use AMC to create audience and aligning these custom audiences against each funnel region. So I'm sure you'll be aware that there are different goals for consumers at each stage of the funnel. For example, with awareness audiences, we aim to get those consumers to build their knowledge of the brand and have them engaging with ads. And for consideration audiences, we want them to see behaviors that show engagement with the brand. and feature products. And finally, for conversion, we want to see a sale, but as you know, these audiences align with different funnel groups. I think we can skip this one just off time. So actually, I can quickly go into how we can use AMC audience. So just on a sponsor ads and DSP perspective, sponsor ads essentially we can use AMC audiences through audience bid boosting, which are applicable in search ads, as well as audience targeting are applicable in display ads. And then for DSP, where we can use audience targeting in our DSP orders, as well as we can use AMC audience to negative as a negative audience. And then moving specifically into funnel region audiences. Examples of audiences used in the upper funnel region include the following. So people who might have searched for certain keywords but not purchased from the brand, or people who are audience lookalikes. So people who are lookalikes to brand purchases or subscribe and savers, or actually we can use 1P data as well. And when looking at optimal frequency audiences through AMC, we can identify the optimal frequency rate in which consumers engage with ads before purchase, therefore identifying both underserved and oversaturated audiences. And then moving lower down the funnel, here are key AMC audiences that drive purchase. So the first example is we're targeting promotional and new to brand purchasers. Second one, we target people who are cart abandoners, and then also we're targeting users categorized as having a high lifetime value, or we're targeting those who've lapsed in lifetime value. Also, we're targeting audiences who are near or have reached optimal frequency of upper funnel activation. And lastly, the last example is we're targeting people who've engaged with the ads or product detail pages, but not purchased yet. So taking this a step further, we can use our understanding of other AMC capabilities, such as the path to conversion, to create custom audiences for AMC using their funnel journey. And this comes in the forms of traffic acquisition and ad type or media mix overlap. So within traffic acquisition, this involved retargeting people who viewed or engaged with ads up the funnel. So we're continually guiding consumers down the funnel. And for ad type overlap, we can use AMC analysis to identify meaningful ad type overlaps. So for example, earlier we saw that sponsor product followed by sponsor brand drives purchases and ROAS. So we can create and retarget this audience to further drive conversion through sponsor ads and DSP. And then lastly, I think I want to finish off with another case study where we tested the impact of AMC audience integration for a confectionery brand for Q4 2024. Our current DSP campaign met consumers where they were, but the strategy needed to be enhanced with AMC audience to guide consumers down the funnel. So this campaign, therefore, implemented a wide range of AMC audiences across the funnel regions, such as retargeting organic behaviors and ad interaction on the screen here and in the middle of the table. And by doing this, we found that we were able to drive a total of 2,138 incremental purchases, with total purchases increasing by 24% and new to brand purchases increasing by 22% versus previously with no AMC integration. Therefore, concluding that AMC audiences drove incremental purchases, thus revenue for the brand, which is amazing news. And that was the last slide. And thank you very much for listening.
Thanks so much for that, Curtis. That was a really super insightful session on how brands and advertisers can use the many elements that AMC offers to help them drive that growth on Amazon. So we can jump into a few questions here for the last 5 minutes. One of the first questions that we have here is how far is the look back window for AMC?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So the AMC look back window, I think used to be 13 months. However, it has now been extended to 5 years with the now free but previously paid AMC feature called Amazon Retail Purchases. With this new feature, we can better analyze customer lifetime value, purchase cycles, as well as repeat behaviors year on year.
That's great, thank you. Another question we have is, can I upload first-party data to enhance my AMC analysis?
Yeah, for sure, definitely can. And it's something that I've sort of mentioned throughout the slides as well. So yeah, absolutely. You can upload first party data to AMC, and then with this combination with Amazon event signals, it basically allows us to perform even further custom analytics, such as a further understanding into customer lifetime value, or sort of tracking multi-channel purchases and building more granular audiences for targeted campaigns.
That's brilliant, thanks. And then I know AMC might seem quite confusing to a lot of people, but someone is asking, do I need to know SQL to use AMC?
Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, I think SQL does help. However, it's not strictly required because while AMC is built on SQL, however, Amazon now makes it very easy, and Amazon provides a extensive pre-built query library and a point and click solutions that essentially can generate no-code audiences for you.
That's great. Thanks, Curtis. We do have another question here. Could you give some use case examples using Amazon Insights and Amazon retail purchases? I don't know now if you would have them to hand, but we could potentially use this person to get in touch. Would that will make sense there, Curtis?
Yeah, for sure. Well, I think we'll definitely follow up more because those two are actually previously paid insights, and
Mhm.
now we have access to these new pay features. Is really exciting for us to to just get more leverage on how we can further leverage AMC.
Okay, that's great. Thanks. Well, Dale, if you would like to, obviously you could scan the barcode on screen there, or you can get in touch with Curtis via email at curtis.fu@toucanecommerce.com and he will be able to help you out more on that one. But we will close the Q&A there for today. I just want to say a massive thank you to everyone for joining our Toucan Talks webinar today, and we hope today's session was super useful for you. If you would like to get in touch with Curtis regarding today's session, like I said, scan the QR code on screen or get in touch with him via email. So thanks again, and we hope to see you at another Toucan Talks event, whether that is online or in person in the future. So hope everyone has a great rest of the week, and thank you all for coming.
Thanks, everyone. Cheers.